Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing good. I'm doing okay. Last week I was really sleep deprived because I got upset. Not really totally unexpectedly, but just hoping for better in life sometimes out of people, and there's nothing we can do about it. But upsets and in our life are upsets nonetheless, if you know what I mean. So just working through a lot of really hard things and having to still get things done in my life and around my home. And yesterday was a big day. I was cutting wire from where I had my horse out of trees and different things so we could use the Doug could use the chainsaw and we could get cleaned up around my asparagus. We got quite a bit of that done, and it was pretty difficult and a little buggy and kind of hot, and so it was rough. But and the night before, I had sometimes I have really bad leg cramps from allergies and different injuries that I've had. So yeah, I needed a break. So when I do, I'm always going to be back, and I'll always probably, you're more than welcome to. If you aren't on my Facebook, feel free to look me up and follow me on Facebook, because a lot of times, even though I may not speak on here, I've got a daughter-in-law and my oldest granddaughter and the mother of my other granddaughter, and other people, family on Facebook, that I will get on there and usually at least let them know that I'm alive and I'm okay on that day. But usually I'm on Facebook every day, and I have been for 12 years. So if you don't see me here, like I said, feel free to come over there and friend me. I would never be offended, and I've got quite a few friends over there that I'll guarantee will be a meme to make you laugh at least once a day. Guaranteed. Every day. And if they don't make me laugh, I'll I'll find a meme that'll make everybody laugh one way or another. So it's a pretty good environment for it's a learning and teaching tool. It's a good place to be. A lot of people are kind of anti Facebook. I was on Facebook when it was like mainly adults that had businesses, and we were promoting our businesses um, at that time before I got really sick. I was using my contractor's license and my DUNS number, and for it was called Gentle Full. I was going to break other people's horses, but that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. So, well, that's not a big deal either, because my life took other avenues. But what I wanted to talk about today was the voices that we hear inside us, like if it's like um sublime, I guess, or like the underlying um laying instincts that we have inside of ourselves, whether that's like force of evil coming at us or the force of good. How many psychologists and psychiatrists out there, psychologists being the study of the mind of children and the science of helping children to develop, and psychiatrists being for the adult mind and encompassing every human, and actually having to take courses in biology for their profession. So they're steps above what a psychologist for a child would be to begin with. you know, encompassing that also. But how many psychiatrists really delve into spirituality? Why isn't spirituality, which we know is a real thing, we can't prove it as tangible, but we feel it inside of ourselves? Um, I just got a chill. Also, okay. Um, because of a breeze coming in my window. Okay, how many times have we seen people address schizophrenia, perhaps, in an individual that they say they're hearing voices? Maybe they really are, but maybe it isn't as much of a sickness. I am not one that believes in schizophrenia as it's documented. If I get cut off, I will be back because this is a super important topic for everybody. And I think that spirituality should be taught more to children in the reality of it, not that that would send them off in la la land or make them see things in the world that aren't realistic. This is something, if you believe that you are a soul and you feel the spirit of God or Satan or other people's spirits and ill wills or that type of thing, if you believe that's really true, why aren't we teaching this to children to guard them from the dangers of the dark forces and the spirits that will harm them? I think that's a really good question. As I light a cigarette, I'm going to tell you something in case you didn't know. So just a minute. Okay. Although I don't drink, um, I used to and I have, and I don't use hard drugs, but I do smoke herbs. So if any of you think that because I have a close connection to God as far as I'm concerned, that maybe smoking a couple hits of weed or something is gonna turn me into some kind of regressed animal, or if you think less of me because of that, that's okay by then. Um, but I've actually helped people, not even my own children, but I've helped other people um, out of their addictions. And so I guess it depends on if it's controlling us or are we controlling it. Is it actually a medicine or is it it escape? For me, it's a little of both, to be honest. I like to wait usually till the end of the day, and then I like to have a few hits and just chill out. And that's the end of my day, and I'm not required. But then on the other hand, I also like the kind of smoke that makes me want to get up and do all kinds of stuff, and then I'm just kind of in the zone, busy, and so just for the record, I'm not absolutely striving for perfection on this planet. That's beyond my capabilities. And I'm not expecting that out of anybody else either. But that's not indeterminate of our virtues. Like, it doesn't make you a bad person if you have a drink or something to smoke or whatever. You know, and I know when I'm doing something wrong. Enough said. you know. Okay, so back on that schizophrenia thing, that bothers me. Really, it really, really bothers me because I feel the voice of God inside myself. Some people think it's more a physical thing, like they actually hear his voice. And in our minds, now I feel God in my body. It's a physical and soulful connection thing that's hard to describe. The loudness of the satanic force, however, can be actual verbal messages. It's a mind to skull technology that the Masons use. A lot of people don't realize, and I'll have another explanation for what the protractor and the compass and the sign of the G of the square of the gematria of the Masons, the G, and that level and that ruler, and what that is indicative of mind to skull technology and the witchcraft that they can and often do use towards people. Think of it like this: the day you are born, they measure your skull. Why do they do that? I just told you why. Because of the technology through witchcraft that they actually use on this planet towards every individual. And it's the truth. And this within numbers, within the circumference of your skull, and the oncoming forces of what they're going to use with more electronical technologies towards us that they've always been using, like in railway lines, rebar in highways, waterways, high rises, monoliths here and there and all over the place. Like even there's a pyramid, a replica of the Pyramid of Giza in Memphis, Tennessee. An actual replica of the transmitting force of that electronics and the way they can use it in the ether towards us. And that's what they do. And this is a big thing to do with people that think that they're schizophrenic, or even actions through somebody that's like a child with ADD. When you're older, you may be able to control like your hyperactivity or your attention deficit, and you can become more focused because you're an older person and you have more control over your body. But when you're little, you don't. And you'll see these children that are rambunctious, and it may not even be, may not even have anything to do with diet or sugar, like they say, and whatever. I've recognized this out of my own children that were being attacked, and the limited sugar that I had in their diet when they were young. I had some healthy children, strong, until they were taken out of my hands and nearly destroyed. And they're both barely hanging on for dear life because of it. Everything I'm telling you is the truth. So I just wanted you to consider the fact that things that are going on in your life and around you in other people's lives, this is actually a controlled effort with the dark forces, the people that would want to use you or your family members against you. And yeah, they're being conducted by Satan. I'm going to come back, or the word Satan is actually a different term. I'm going to come back and it's what we put out in the ether that can actually be harmful to the whole world, and how strong our minds or our souls are, the ones that are doing that and conducting that. And yeah, there's a leader of the whole thing, and God and Satan see things ahead of time. Satan was shown everything, and a lot of us were shown things too ahead of time. Um, thing is, human beings forget. We were born forgetting what we knew in the womb. But these entities, of course, never forget anything. And it is choreographed. It most certainly is. There are no coincidences. You'll see things you call deja vu that are actual things that God put into play and Satan already knows about. So that's how he appears to be able to get ahead of the game and control people through the ether, is with the electronics and the actual ignorance that people have towards the spiritual side of things. So I'm going to be back, I think. I love you all. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for joining me. Peace, you all.